Okay, so after we saw the tree, let me show you how we are scaling the damage. First, all the damage nodes on the tree here. This is very, very important for the minions. The damage nodes here. Okay, the attack speed is also very important. Attack speed nodes are very good. Try taking some on your duos, as the attack speed nodes are very scarce on the tree for minions. And keep in mind, if something does not say minions or your allies, this is not related to your minions. Let's say if something says what let's say here, increased melee damage. This doesn't mean that your minions will do melee damage. This means that you are doing melee damage. If it says increased minion melee damage, yes, this will mean that your minions deal more melee damage. But in this case, if it does not say minions specifically, just consider it's not related to your minions. So you can see how much focus we have on this, right? So attack speed, damage, crit chance, those nodes here, and critical damage bonus. With this tech here I'm using, I'm not sure why not everyone is using this. This is really good. At least, believe me, this gives the enemies as those sparks, those projectiles hit the enemy, they're getting critical exposure, which is a debuff that increases the base critical hit chance of the enemies hitting this enemy, of the enemies of this enemy. So our skeletons gain base critical hit chance, and this stacks 20 times for 10% increased base critical hit chance. At the moment, you can see here our Arsonists have critical hit chance of around 11%, right? With very high critical damage bonus. This is 255%. Because 100 is the base plus 155, it's 255. And this means that with 10% extra, they're hitting almost twice as often this those critical strikes. So this is very, very big damage boost. You use it especially if you don't use such a base captor with Malice. Malice gives you the same critical strike exposure, but it gives you it stacks very slowly. While with Eye of Winter, I'm using it with Unleash and Pierce, just in case something stays in front of the boss or a rare enemy that you want to target with that, because everything else dies immediately, right? You're using this only for rares and bosses, and especially this thing stacks to 10 stacks immediately as soon as you cast it. So yeah, that's just a great way to increase very, very much your damage. Another thing we are using to increase our damage is the flame ability, our curse. This curse reduces significantly the enemy's resistances. This means that pretty much approximately, right, you're doing 35% more damage, because the enemy will have 35% more less elemental resistance minus fire resistance. We are also increasing the effect here with the heightened curse. This is a great support. This is absolutely mandatory in my opinion, those two. The rest are, I'm using inspiration just so you can spam this a bit more often. You can see with the mana is still high, the mana cost, even with this curse, right? Even with the inspiration, this curse costs significant amount of mana. Not as much as the power pain offering at the moment, but yeah. So yeah, the king of the damage boost though is pain offering. This is absolutely insane. I think that this is the base of every, and this will be the base of every summoner build. This is like insane damage boost. To 52% more damage, 52% and 30% increased attack and cast speed. This gives it persistence, gives it more duration. So definitely we will need it. It expires very quickly. So this gives big quality of life. Font of Rage gives the allies rage, and rage is a big buff of damage. You can see more attack damage per one rage, 1% more. This is very good, and this is absolutely, I mean, the bread and butter of every minion build. A minion build without this, I don't know. I'm not sure what they're using. It's just I cannot imagine this working, right? Just so good. Here I'm increasing the effect of offering with this ablation support. It's just sacrificing 15% of your life. So you can see when I cast it, it sacrifices immediately 50% of my life. That's why I immediately click the 2 flasks and I'm continuing everything, right? I'm continuing the fight. So this is definitely very helpful. One more thing that boosts your damage, SRS. SRS is another absolutely mandatory buff. It's considered a duration persistence per their persistent minions that are with duration. It's like an effect, an aura, you can say, that is being summoned by you using Flame Wall. And Flame Wall has 2 functions here. Flame Wall gives all the projectiles going through it 50 to 72% added fire damage, and this is massive, right? So your skeletal arsonists, while you're summoning flame walls across above your enemy, they're firing through the flame wall and they're getting this additional damage. At the same time, the flame wall summons your raging spirits that are also doing a lot of damage, although that I'm using them a bit with clarity. You can use additional damage support. I prefer at the moment, because I have spirit for like 17 spirit, I prefer having clarity just for the increased mana regen. It helps tremendously in any fight, right? Even if you're out of flask, which I don't think ever happened to me, out of flasks, you just wait a bit. You can see how quickly my mana regens, right? So this definitely helps a lot. Culling Strike is also here. Just this kills enemies below, unique enemies below 5%. It's very useful, like for one support on skill like Raging Spirits. This is definitely worth it. You should always have this in your build, whether it's here or on the Hound, doesn't matter. And Ellie Focus is the additional support I'm using here. Definitely not mandatory. You can use Maim or something else that is more utility-like. This is just a bit of damage, nothing major. So this combination of things is giving you amazing damage, right? This is very, very useful. So this is damage-wise, this combination: Flame Wall, Curse, Eye of Winter, Pain Offering. amazing damage, amazing damage. Of course, use I'm showing you my skill buttons here, but use one of your mouse buttons, 5 or 6, for movements of minions. This is useful for you to just bring them a bit ahead of you sometimes when you're going into dangerous situations. Okay, so we went through the offenses, some part of the defenses. As I explained, your minions should not die. You should have all resistances. You can see the resistances of my minions are 83%. They're 8% above the max and 50% kills. They do not die, except on the cases I mentioned, which are very few, like Corrupted Blood, Visas Extra Fire, and things like that. In very, very hard maps, tier 16, Delirium, Ritual, things like that. They can die, but it's very rare. Having your minions die will not work. This is not a strategy that you want to follow. You will not be able to wait for your minions to revive, no matter how much you're investing in fast revival of your minions. Not having them on the field like half of the battle is crazy. Just don't do that to yourself. So let's go to your survivability now. As I mentioned, we are maxing our resistances. Here I'm investing in energy shield nodes. That's why I'm pathing to this node here, this node here, and those nodes here, including those two. Therefore, those three for faster recharge and faster start of recharge of energy shield. Here, 1 point, no brainer, mind over matter, gives you 1200 extra life pool. So this is crazy though. Take it. Just keep in mind you have to spam your life flask. It's not a problem. Just as I mentioned, you can see how quickly my mana, even with mind over matter, how quickly it returns. It's just once you spam your skill, spam, click your flasks and just continue, right? Your map continues, your boss fight continues. You will start managing it very quickly. It's not hard. You use common sense for your mapping. Always. If you're using energy shield and you're not using green fist, you're trolling. It's just insane. This gives your enemies that are dying, because our minions are not dying at all. Your enemies that are dying are leaving kind of remnants, small lights that you can collect and heal your energy shield immediately. And this overheal, so overflows is the term that is used in POE2. So you can go to 2 times your energy shield. So usually I'm mapping with 13,000 energy shield, but this makes you almost unkillable during maps, and you're unkillable during boss fights because of this high effective HP pool. So you're very, very tanky boy with very, very good damage.